Many years have passed since the revolutionary masterpiece on wheels, called Bugatti Veyron, first appeared on the roads of the Czech Republic. In 2007, the story of the car that the whole world later learned about began.
Even as a boy, I loved football. It captured my attention far more than cars ever did. However, like most boys, I still had a fascination with cars. When I started my business, I realized a sports car wasn't something I truly needed for work. But deep down, I always thought that someday the time would come when I'd want to own a really nice sports car. I remember the year 1994 when I first visited the Geneva International Motor Show. And there I saw the Bugatti EB110, and I realized that it was an exceptionally unique car. I knew if I ever wanted to buy a sports car, it would have to be a Bugatti. But at that time, owning a sports car was beyond my reach. As time went on, their project didn't work out as planned. It wasn't financially successful, and eventually Bugatti was acquired by the VW Group. At that time, I mostly drove BMWs, and, to be honest, I couldn't imagine that the project of an extraordinary sports car directed by VW Group could be successful.
In addition to Radim, his eldest son, Radim Jr., is also interested in cars.
The assignment of the then CEO of VW, the brilliant Ferdinand Piëch, was brief. We will build the most amazing car of all time. The goal was 1,000 horsepower. Breaking the magical 400 kilometers per hour barrier. 0 to 100 under 3 seconds. And the most powerful brakes ever. At the same time, this car was supposed to provide passengers with maximum luxury and comfort. At that time, these were parameters that even the F1 and other sports cars did not have. You could say that it was a cosmic project.
I bought my first sports car in 2005, and it was a Lamborghini Murcielago. But I also noticed that the Bugatti project might be successful after all. In 2006, my business was flourishing, and I faced a personal decision. At that time, I was already a devout Christian, so I prayed earnestly, seeking God's guidance about whether it was right for me to purchase such a car. As I prayed, I felt a deep conviction that I can go ahead and buy. It was more than just buying a car. It would be a declaration that just like everything I already had, even this car would truly belong to God. However, there was still one question. I learned that the Bugatti would be produced in a limited quantity of 300 units, and that the brand would choose who to sell their cars to. So, the first thing I needed to find out was whether they would want to sell the car to someone like Radim Passer, from somewhere in the Czech Republic. I contacted them, and the answer was positive. So, the car was ordered. In August 2006, we visited Molsheim for the first time, and there the factory pilot gave me a ride in the Veyron. For me, it was an amazing experience, something I had never experienced in any car before. I remember witnessing an incredible moment on a rural road in light rain, where the road was relatively wet, but completely empty. The pilot was driving at about 230 kilometers per hour when he began braking. What amazed me was that he took his hands off the steering wheel, yet the car remained perfectly stable. Despite the high speed and wet conditions, the car came to a complete stop in an impressively short distance with absolute safety. So that was an amazing experience for me. Then I got the opportunity to drive the car. I was able to try out the acceleration from 0 to 100 and then brake back to 0. And all of that was done in less than 5 seconds. So absolutely amazing. The car was ordered, and Bugatti promised to deliver the car by mid-2007. And for the first time in my life, when I ordered a nice car, the car manufacturer actually delivered it earlier than promised. So in April 2007, we personally went to Molsheim to get our Veyron. Bugatti is known for pairing such extraordinary engineering with an equally exceptional level of service that reflects the unique nature of the car itself. When we brought the car home, I was overwhelmed with emotions, but most of all, I felt immense gratitude. Since God had already transformed my life and I was already a Christian, owning the car felt different than it would have when I was an unbeliever. Beyond the joy of it all, the overwhelming emotion was a deep sense of thankfulness.
The Bugatti Veyron took everyone's breath away. People were amazed by its unparalleled performance. With a colossal 16-cylinder, 8-litre engine producing 1,001 horsepower, it could accelerate from 0 to 100 in 2.5 seconds and achieve a top speed of an incredible 407 kilometers per hour.
Achieving a dream after many years is an indescribable feeling. For Radim, Bugatti has always been his biggest idol, primarily because of its reputation as the most powerful car. He has always focused on 3 key parameters in cars: performance, acceleration, and maximum speed, each of which he enjoys testing. This passion led to an ambitious goal: reaching a third of the speed of sound with the Veyron. What started as an ambitious test quickly grew into an organizational challenge, and Radim had no idea that more than one test would be needed to achieve his goal.
The speed test was finally a success, and the top speed worked as planned. I had driven over 400 kilometers per hour in the factory Veyron, but this time I wanted to know that my own car could achieve the same. My goal wasn't simply to reach 400 kilometers per hour. It was about confirming that the car's top speed was achievable in safe, ideal conditions: an empty highway, good visibility, and proper safety measures. In all our test runs, we exceeded 390 kilometers per hour. But I knew the Veyron's speedometer showed a slightly lower speed than the actual GPS reading. So we learned the true speed after completing the tests. When we stopped at a rest area, and before we even checked our GPS, I received a call from Bugatti congratulating us. They knew we were attempting to do the test and had been tracking the car via GPS, and knew we were the first to exceed 400 kilometers per hour on a public road. The 400 kilometer per hour milestone was an unexpected bonus. In our fastest run, it was an incredible 402.5 kilometers per hour, and what made this achievement even more special was that I shared it with my son, who was almost 14 at the time. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for him, and for me, it felt like a gift from God.
I had one big wish: to be by my dad's side during this special moment. I wanted to show him my complete confidence in his driving skills and to be there to support him. I wanted him to know that he was not alone in that car and that we were going at it together. And the result, indescribably beautiful. The Veyron confirmed to me What a revolutionary engineering miracle it is. Even at such speeds, the car gives you a feeling of comfort, peace, and safety. And for that, I give God the glory, and to Bugatti, big respect.
In the meantime, Radim and his family were able to try out another more powerful version of the Bugatti Veyron, Grand Sport Vitesse. In 2012, a test in Spain, and in 2014, a small private test in the Czech Republic. However, Radim was not impressed by this version enough to consider buying it. But Bugatti had a surprise up their sleeve.
We had a great relationship with the people from Bugatti, which also meant that whenever a new version of the Veyron appeared, it was offered to us. And at that time, I was ready to consider another Bugatti someday. But I also knew that I would never buy it before I was sure that the top speed works with my own Veyron. And when in 2015 our test was successful, well, I could no longer make excuses. Thus, the way was prepared, and shortly after, we were approached with a completely new concept, which was to be the Chiron.
Time and technological progress are moving forward fast. The Veyron began to have some competition, and that is why the car company introduced a new model called the Bugatti Chiron.
After 5 years of intense development, Bugatti set out to show that the limits of automotive performance are far from being reached. The Veyron was already hailed as the pinnacle of engineering excellence. The directive from the brand's then CEO for the new Chiron was clear. Take the best car and make it even better.
As a commercial developer and entrepreneur, money is always tied up in projects, with most of it invested as equity. That means you have limited funds readily available. So, investing around 3 million euros into a new Chiron naturally required more careful planning. It wasn't until 2017 that I began to seriously consider the idea, although Bugatti had already introduced the Chiron concept to us in London back in 2015. In 2016, we saw the Bugatti Chiron in person at a car show in Monaco. Then, in 2017, Bugatti invited us to a special event in Lisbon for customers, where we had the opportunity to drive the actual Bugatti Chiron. Experiencing the car firsthand made it clear to me that from a technical standpoint, it was far superior to the Veyron. By the end of that year, we had already decided to place a pre-order for the Bugatti Chiron.
The Chiron might appear as an updated Veyron, but it's much more than that. While it retains the same iconic quad-turbocharged 8-litre W16 engine, it has been significantly re-engineered. Stronger engine block, larger turbos, redesigned cooling and intake, and components from much more durable materials. The engine delivers 1,500 horsepower, and its acceleration is phenomenal. The Veyron does 0 to 400 in 55 seconds, while the Chiron in just 32 seconds, a staggering 23-second improvement. Any minor flaws in the Veyron have been refined in the Chiron.
In March 2018, my son and I traveled to Geneva, where we learned that Bugatti was unveiling the Bugatti Chiron Sport version. It was immediately clear to me that this was a slightly enhanced concept with a higher price tag, and I was curious about the additional value it offered. However, the premium pricing was justified and the improvements were impressive. We felt fortunate to be there at the perfect time to place an order for the Chiron Sport. From Geneva, we headed straight to Molsheim to finalize the order and its specifications. Bugatti assured us that the car would be delivered within 12 months by March 2019. Staying true to their reputation, Bugatti exceeded our expectations by delivering the car to our home before Christmas 2018. We received it discreetly, as we felt there was no need for the entire Czech Republic to know that the first Chiron had arrived in the country. Our next challenge was deciding where and how to properly test the car's capabilities. However, with the onset of COVID in 2020, our plans were delayed, and we finally began organizing the speed test in 2021.
The cherry on top is the experience of traveling with the car. At low speeds, the engine emits a gentle purr, exuding refinement. You could be cruising at 200 kilometers per hour, yet the Chiron's remarkable stability and comfort make it feel as effortless as driving at 100. Should you decide to accelerate, the engine's immense torque eliminates the need for downshifting, maintaining seamless performance. This meticulous combination of high-speed capability, impeccable craftsmanship, and unparalleled comfort cements the Bugatti Chiron as the most exquisitely engineered car of all time.
We have shared our lives with the Bugattis for over 15 years, first with the Veyron and more recently with the Chiron. I am deeply grateful for the joy these cars have brought to so many people. Countless individuals have admired them, taken photos, and even had the chance to experience a ride in them. Honestly, I find that this joy we've been able to share is perhaps even more meaningful than the thrill of the speed tests themselves. That said, our speed tests have been another important chapter in this journey. We've conducted them 4 times, always placing everything in God's hands, praying for safety not only for ourselves, but also for everyone else on the road. I'm immensely thankful to God that we never experienced even a hint of danger during these tests. It's a profound reminder for me that when you fully surrender something to God, it opens the way for Him to take care of it. This has been one of many profound experiences in my life with God. Another aspect that fills me with joy is reflecting on how far things have come. When the Veyron first arrived in the Czech Republic, hardly anyone knew what kind of car it was. My son, who was less than 6 years old at the time, didn't really grasp what we had in the garage. Today, it's a different story. Not only does he know and appreciate these incredible cars, but we now enjoy driving them together, each in our own Bugatti. And these Bugattis have brought so much joy and unforgettable memories into our lives. I am deeply grateful for everything.